It's a dreary afternoon here at the River House, and I'm back to hopefully accomplish two things. First, I would like to finally fix my monstrosity of a water system, which I have been tinkering on in sort of a death spiral hellscape kind of thing. So the main thing is underneath the green bin there. I'm in here because of the wind. And that is my pressure tank. Now, when I first fired up the new well pump switch, it just chattered. And I misunderstood why it was doing that. I thought it was because my pressure tank, which is an old salvaged propane tank that I've revalved, was too small. So I added a second stacked propane tank. Now that's not why. It is chattering, those of you who've done this before, because my pressure switch is mounted on the line coming out of my pump, and since I have my pressure tank connected with a garden hose, it's like 20 feet away in soft rubber tube. So that's why it's chattering. So I just need to mount the pressure switch on the pressure tank, and Bob will be your uncle there, and I'll be completely done. So that should get that finally fixed, and once that's done, it'll work fine. The other thing I'm here to do is to begin building the stone boat. Hopefully my ability to move rocks around the property, and I've devised an overly complicated system in keeping with most of the things that I do. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish. Any idea about getting video of this is probably el capote, because I'm not going to leave the camera out in the rain. So I'll update you when I get back. Alright, we're ready for a test. Only just barely, because this is the nightmare that keeps on giving. Now, the wires leading to the outlet, which I can't put in the box because you're not designed to stick an outlet on cable this large, they're starting to break off. The switch, the wires popped out, and I can't remember which hole the dang things go into, so the switch stopped working. So all I can do right now is turn it on. It's a lot of whining on my part, but I'll get it taken care of. Here we are, ready to give it our first shot. So we'll know we'll be successful if... That's a fun little shimmy. Huh, I don't care if it dances. I don't care if it dances. I care if the pump turns off with a solid click, or if we still chatter. Look at it tipping it over. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So that switch. Hey, look at that. It's decided that this is going to come apart now. What a pile of crap. I know it's my own deal, but still, what a pile of crap. So now we're venting. So all I need to do now is come up with an actual proper box to bring those wires into, some sort of switch box that I can then run a second wire out to an outlet, which I can then mount to the post. Speaking of posts, I gotta find a way to anchor this monster right here and figure out why my very expensive solid state relay switch has decided to take a poop on me. Oh, other than that, it's perfect. Totally perfect. I don't see a single design flaw in the whole system. I opted to start with a little one, a little stone boat, rock slide, rock skid, whatever. You know, and I wish I could remember the name. Somebody pointed out how useful it would be to have one small enough to pull behind the backhoe rather than the monstrosity of the excavator. And I figured this would be a good proof of concept test. And if it's a dismal failure, then it'll probably be a dismal failure in the massive form, and it just waste more time. So you ready? I'd guess for a drum roll, but I don't have any rhythm. So there it is. This is the nasty remains of the old platform, the rotten platform that the deck sat on. These are those bridge bolts that held together the ferry landing. And these are just spacers, but essentially this will be drilled through the end, 10 inches back or so, and pinned in both the ends and the center. Now, why I added the hinge in the middle, I'm going to have to come down the driveway and around a corner. I got a lot of stones up there, lots and lots of big hills, and we're talking rocks, maybe not on this one, but potentially rocks in, you know, the 5 to 10,000, well, 5 to 8,000 pound range. Yeah, I bet we push 10. I bet we get close. Especially if I'm going to overload it, and we all know I'm going to do that. So I figured if it had to come down and then break to the level, that I would break it for real. As she flattened out, you know, it's going to put all the weight here and all the weight here, and this stuff is built from crap. So that's what I meant when I said overcomplicated. I'm hoping that this will be a lot more flexible. I'm hoping it'll have side-to-side flex, and I'm hoping it'll have hinge flex in the middle. And we'll all know together, right? We'll all know together if it works. And, you know, you can put your predictions in the comments. Obviously, making nasty remarks about my mother is always an option. Dad's been kind of left out, so if you want to say something about him, it's not really on the Riverhouse videos. It's on that one Nazi video where I troll the white supremacists. It's a good time. But anyways, this is what I've got here. Yeah, I mean, I hope it'll work. I don't know quite yet how to attach the bridge pins. I had an idea that I could just weld a chunk of scrap metal to the end of the pin there and weld a chunk on the other end. I don't know, they're certainly too heavy for me just to bend over. I don't know if it'd be even much of an issue with them walking out of place. I'm going to tow it by using those bridge cables that held together the mess you watched us take apart a few days ago, the mess on the trailer. I'm going to use those cables. They appear to be guy wires for telephone poles. So if you're familiar with that cable, it's strong, but it's not flexible. It's not good for anything. Does that make sense? So my idea is to put a loop at either end so I can tow her in and out, and then just hook it with a shackle. Yeah, I mean that's my idea. So this one, in theory, if it's the back, and remember, when I'm all done with these things, bonfire night. But this will be the one for the backhoe, and I envision it, you know, with rocks in the bucket, and then dragging this behind it. You know, that's not really an issue. I don't worry about the miles on the backhoe, so to speak. I worry about the miles on the excavator. And standing here and looking up at the excavator, oh, there's the waterfall. Anyways, looking up at the excavator, this is going to be too small. Hey, you know what we should do? We should walk up and look at some of the rocks I hope to drag around. That's what we should do. Then you'd have the full scope in order to write your comments. So you can see the big old hook underneath the thing, as long as I keep it out of the tracks. So my idea is, I mean, I can always pick them up with the thumb and drive them around. There's two issues with that. First, the thumb has a nasty tendency of crushing the rocks, and I prefer to have them in as big a chunk as possible. And then second, just the wear and tear of driving the beast around. You know, like I said, the front idlers, they're not in great shape. They wobble, and she's starting to pop and grind. I mean, all the tracks are brand new and the rear sprocket's brand new, but everything else is old. So I just don't want to push it. But my thought was, I drag this big stone boat thing, probably made out of the bridge timbers, behind the backhoe, and I can load it with these rocks. They're relatively substantial things. And then in addition, I've got a whole bunch of smaller stuff as well. And there's a long distance, a long ways that need to be hauled. I got a big stack of them at the top of the hill. There's a big stack of them behind Mount Dirtmore here. There's a big stack over there. There's a big stack over there. There's a big stack up there. The whole place is a big stack, right? So then my idea is towing them with the excavator. Instead of making 20 or 30 trips, I make 6 or 7 or 10, you know, and the time invested, the materials is nothing, it's trash, but the time invested is worth it because, you know, there'll be time in repairing the machine, and I can probably limp it along for years as long as I don't put the miles on it. But anyways, that was my thought. It's not like financially I want to take that money and fix it right now anyways. Remember, the driveway is going to come down through here, but I got to make that jog right there a couple of times. And I know that there is a bunch of big rocks buried down here because that's where all these came from. Oh, and I got a big pile of rocks all through there, and a big pile of rocks on the other side of the camper. Rockville. So anyways, I think it'll work, but then I think most of these things will work. And I don't care, because it's fun. It's fun to give it a shot. Ooh, the river is way up. Heading towards flood season. I think it'll work, and it'd be really cool. Imagine if I can tow it behind the Willies. Not with the kind of weight we're talking with the... I bet the Willies chained up would tow as much as the hoe. You think? If the bed was loaded with rocks, low range? But it'd be nice to tow it behind the Willies, and I put the lighter stuff in the bed, and I don't have to lift the heavy stuff quite so high. Anyways, I'll let you know if it works. Well, you'll see if it works. If I never mention this thing again, well, isn't that frickin' fun? This drill's brand new. It's been used less than a dozen times. Reverse wouldn't work. It wouldn't back up. So that's just this switch right here. So I'd flip it dead. It'd go forward, I'd flip it dead. So I'm sitting there and I'm messing with it, just having a look at it, and wouldn't you know it, it just takes off on its own. Takes off on its own, winds up its own cord, and goes freaking ape shit until, you know, all hell broke out. It's a brand new drill. Now I gotta take a brand new drill apart. Oh, it's not brand new as in I just bought it recently. Oh no, it was purchased not even by me a long time ago, so there's no like warranty or anything. But it's still a brand new drill. Now it's going to be a brand new drill that I have to take apart, thread in the cord all the way back into the thing, either choosing to make it shorter or coming up with a new cord. And then it'll be a brand new drill that I still have to figure out why it doesn't go into reverse. Just a general message to the American tool manufacturers. If your crap is going to be as bad as Chinesium, I'll just buy the Chinesium if I gotta fix it all the time anyways. Regardless, somewhere I got my massive old Craftsman, and I guess I'll drag that one out. Brand new. Well, I would have stayed late and drilled a bunch of holes and given her a test drag, but now that I need to start from scratch on it, I guess I'm done. So you'll have to wait for another time. Sorry, this isn't the best, most interested in the River House videos. Basically, I showed up here. I fixed a crap water monstrosity that I built myself. I built what I hope will be a fairly functional rock drag, and then had a drill commit suicide in my hands before my very eyes. I'm not sure we can call this a win, but thanks for watching.